Take this $100,000 and disappear. My son will never know about you or that baby," Mrs. Wellington had said 6 years ago. New Year's Eve. The Wellington family celebrated on their $10 million yacht. Mrs. Wellington raised champagne. To another perfect year. Then a shadow fell over the deck. A $200 million mega yacht pulled alongside. A helicopter pad. A pool. The name on the hull, Destiny. The woman herself appeared on deck. 3 children in designer nautical outfits waved from beside her. "Happy New Year, Mrs. Wellington." Brandon dropped his glass. His wife grabbed his arm. "Who is that?" The children shouted in unison. "Hi, Daddy! Grandma!" Mrs. Wellington's champagne turned to vinegar in her mouth. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, subscribe to the channel and let's get started. I need to tell you something important. Please, do not be scared. Destiny Miller looked at Brandon Wellington. They sat on a bench at Revere Beach. The ocean was gray and cold. It was a Tuesday afternoon in March. Destiny's hands shook. She held a folded piece of paper in her jacket pocket. Brandon took her hand. "You can tell me anything, Destiny. What is wrong?" Destiny took a deep breath. "I am pregnant." Brandon's eyes went wide. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Destiny watched his face carefully. She was terrified. They had been dating for 8 months, but always in secret. Brandon never took her to his family home. He never introduced her to his mother. Destiny worked as a waitress. Brandon came from one of the richest families in Boston. She knew what this news might mean. "Say something," Destiny whispered. "Please." Brandon suddenly pulled her into a tight hug. "It is okay. Everything will be okay." His voice was shaking. "We will figure this out together." Destiny started crying. "Are you sure?" "Brandon, I know this is not what you expected. I know your family." "Stop," Brandon said. He pulled back and looked into her eyes. "I love you, Destiny. We are going to be a family. I will tell my mother tonight." But Destiny saw something in his eyes. It was fear. 6 months earlier, Destiny carried 3 plates of salmon and roasted vegetables through the crowded restaurant. The harbor side was busy every night. It sat near Beacon Hill in downtown Boston. Rich people came here after work. They wore expensive suits and drank expensive wine. Destiny smiled at every customer. She needed the tips. "Excuse me, miss?" A man at table 7 raised his hand. "Can I get more water?" "Of course, sir. Right away." Destiny rushed to the back, filled a pitcher, and returned to his table. She was 22 years old. She came to Boston from a small town in Ohio 2 years ago. Her mother still lived in Ohio. Her mother worked 2 jobs her whole life. Destiny's father left when Destiny was 5 years old. Destiny never went to college. There was no money. She moved to Boston, hoping for something better. But so far, she was still waiting tables. "Destiny, table 12 needs you," called Marcus, another waiter. Destiny turned toward table 12. 3 men in business suits sat there. One of them was young, maybe late 20s. He had light brown hair and blue eyes. He was looking at the menu. Destiny walked over. "Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Destiny. I will be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you with drinks?" The young man with blue eyes looked up. He stared at Destiny for a moment. Then he smiled. "Yes. I will have water, please." "Just water." His 2 companions ordered wine. Destiny wrote everything down. When she walked away, she felt the young man watching her. The men stayed for 2 hours. They talked about real estate and construction projects. Destiny brought their food and refilled their drinks. Every time she came to the table, the young man smiled at her. When they finished, Destiny brought the check. The older man paid with a credit card. Destiny saw the name, Wellington Real Estate Holdings. "Thank you for dining with us tonight," Destiny said. The young man stood up. "Excuse me, I am sorry to ask, but what time do you finish work tonight?" Destiny blinked. I finish at 11 o'clock. "Would you like to get coffee after your shift? There is a place 2 blocks from here that stays open late." The 2 older men looked at each other and smiled. Then they walked away, leaving the young man alone with Destiny. "I do not even know your name," Destiny said. "Brandon. Brandon Wellington." Destiny hesitated. This man wore a suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. He had a credit card with a company name on it. He was clearly rich. She was a waitress wearing a black apron with coffee stains. "I do not think that is a good idea," Destiny said quietly. "Why not?" Brandon asked. He looked genuinely confused. "Because you are you, and I am me." Brandon frowned. "I do not understand what that means." "It means we are from different worlds." "So, I just want to have coffee and talk to you." Brandon's voice was sincere. "Please, just coffee. If you hate me after 30 minutes, you never have to see me again." Destiny looked into his blue eyes. He seemed kind, and honestly, she was lonely in Boston. She had no friends. She worked 6 days a week. She lived in a tiny apartment alone. "Okay," she said, "just coffee." Brandon came back to the harbor side 3 more times that week. Each time, he sat alone at a table and ordered food. He always requested Destiny as his server. On Friday night, Destiny finally asked him, "Do you actually like the food here, or are you just coming to see me?" Brandon laughed. "The food is good, but yes, I am coming to see you." "Why?" "Because you are different from everyone I know. You are real." Destiny did not know what to say to that. On Saturday, Brandon asked her out properly. They went to a small Italian restaurant in Cambridge, far from downtown Boston. Brandon said he liked quiet places. They talked for 3 hours. Destiny told him about Ohio, about her mother, about moving to Boston with $800 in a suitcase. Brandon told her about growing up in Brookline in a mansion with 10 bedrooms. He said his father died when he was 20 years old. He said his mother ran the family business now. He said he worked for the company, but he did not love it. "What do you love?" Destiny asked. Brandon thought for a moment. "Honestly, I do not know yet. I never got to choose what I love. Everything was already decided for me." Destiny felt sad for him. She had no money, but at least she had freedom. They started dating. For 8 months, they met in secret. Brandon took Destiny to beaches, to small restaurants in towns outside Boston, to parks where nobody knew them. He never took her to his home. He never introduced her to his mother. "Why do we always hide?" Destiny asked one night. Brandon looked uncomfortable. "My mother is difficult. She has very specific ideas about who I should date." "You mean she would not approve of me?" "It is not about you, Destiny. It is about her. She cares too much about status and reputation. So I am not good enough for the Wellington family." "That is not what I said." Brandon grabbed her hands. "I love you. I do not care what my mother thinks. I just need time to figure out how to tell her." But months passed, and Brandon never told her. Then Destiny started feeling sick at work. She felt dizzy. Her stomach hurt. She was late for her period. She bought a pregnancy test from a pharmacy. In her tiny apartment bathroom, she sat on the floor and waited for the result. 2 pink lines. Positive. Destiny sat there for an hour, crying and shaking. She was pregnant. She had no college degree, no career, no savings. She lived in a 400-square-foot apartment. The father of her baby was a rich man who was afraid to tell his mother about her. But she loved Brandon, and maybe this baby would force him to finally choose her over his mother's approval. Now they sat on the bench at Revere Beach. Brandon promised he would tell his mother tonight. He kissed Destiny and held her close. "I will go to the house right now," Brandon said. "I will tell her everything. About you, about us, about the baby." "What if she gets angry?" Destiny asked. "Then she gets angry. I am 28 years old. I can make my own choices." But his voice was shaking. They sat together for a few more minutes. Then Brandon walked Destiny to the bus stop. He kissed her one more time. "I will call you later tonight," he said. "I promise everything will be okay." Destiny watched him walk to his car. It was a black Mercedes. She took the bus back to her apartment. She sat on her bed and waited for his call. Brandon drove toward Brookline. His hands were sweating on the steering wheel. The Wellington mansion was 20 minutes away. He rehearsed what he would say to his mother. "Mom, I am dating someone. Her name is Destiny. I love her. She is pregnant. We are going to be a family." No, that sounded too defensive. "Mom, I have something important to tell you. Please listen with an open mind." No, that sounded too weak. Brandon's phone rang. It was his mother. "Hello, Mother." "Brandon, where are you? We have a board meeting in 30 minutes. I am coming to the house. I need to talk to you about something personal." There was a pause. "Personal? What is wrong?" "Nothing is wrong. I just need to tell you something. I will be there in 10 minutes. Victoria's voice became cold. "Fine, I will be in the library." Brandon hung up. He gripped the steering wheel tighter. His whole body was tense. He knew his life was about to change forever. He just did not know how much. The mansion gates opened automatically. Brandon drove through and parked in the circular driveway. The house was huge, made of gray stone with white columns. Brandon grew up here, but tonight it felt cold and uninviting. He walked to the front door. Maria, the housekeeper, opened it before he could knock. "Good evening, Mr. Brandon. Your mother is waiting in the library." "Thank you, Maria." Brandon walked through the marble hallway. His footsteps echoed. He passed paintings that cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. He reached the library door and knocked. "Come in." Victoria's voice was sharp. Brandon entered. Victoria sat behind a mahogany desk. She wore a navy blue suit. Her silver hair was perfect. She was reading financial reports. She did not look up. "Sit down, Brandon." Brandon sat in the leather chair across from her. His heart was pounding. Victoria put down her papers. She looked at him with her sharp green eyes. "You said this was important. What is it?" Brandon took a deep breath. "I am dating someone. Her name is Destiny Miller. I have been seeing her for 8 months. Victoria's face showed no emotion. 8 months? And you are telling me now?" "I am telling you now because it is serious. Mother, I love her." "I see." Victoria folded her hands on the desk. "Tell me about this Destiny Miller. What does her family do?" "Her mother works in Ohio. Her father left when she was young." "What does her mother do?" Brandon hesitated. "She works 2 jobs. I think she cleans houses and works at a grocery store." Victoria's eyes narrowed. "And what does Destiny do?" "She works at the harborside. She is a waitress." "A waitress?" Victoria's voice was flat. "No college degree?" "No, but Mother, that does not matter. She is intelligent and kind and pregnant, I assume. Otherwise you would not be here." Brandon felt like he had been slapped. "How did you—" "I am not stupid, Brandon. You have been sneaking around for 8 months. Now suddenly, You come here to tell me about a waitress you love. There is only one reason you would finally tell me." Victoria leaned forward. "How far along is she?" 3 months? Victoria closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, they were cold as ice. "This is unacceptable." "Mother, I am not asking for your permission. I am telling you. Destiny and I are going to be a family. We are going to raise this child together." "No, you are not." "Excuse me?" Victoria stood up. She walked to the window and looked out at the garden. "Brandon, you are my only son. You are the heir to the Wellington fortune. Do you understand what that means?" "I understand, but—" "You clearly do not understand." Victoria turned around. "This family has a reputation. We have built an empire over 3 generations. I will not let you throw it away for a pregnant waitress with no education and no family connections. Destiny is not throwing anything away. I love her." "Love?" Victoria laughed. It was a harsh sound. "Love does not pay bills, Brandon. Love does not build companies. This girl saw an opportunity, and she took it. That is not fair. Destiny is not like that. They are all like that." Victoria walked back to her desk. Poor people see rich people, and they see dollar signs. She probably got pregnant on purpose. Brandon stood up, angry now. "You do not know her. You have never met her. I do not need to meet her. I know her type." Victoria picked up her phone. "You are going to New York tomorrow morning. We have a property deal closing. You need to be there." "What?" "No, I need to be here with Destiny. You need to do your job, Brandon. You will go to New York. I will handle this situation." "Handle it? What does that mean?" Victoria ignored him. She was typing on her phone. "Your flight is at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Maria will pack your bag." "Mother, I am not leaving Destiny alone right now." Victoria looked up. Her eyes were hard. "Yes, you are. You work for this company, Brandon. You will do what I tell you. Go to New York. When you come back in 3 days, this problem will be resolved. Destiny is not a problem. Go to New York, Brandon. That is final." Brandon wanted to argue more, but he had spent his whole life obeying his mother. He did not know how to fight her. He left the library, angry and scared. The next morning, Brandon called Destiny from his hotel room in Manhattan. "How did it go?" Destiny asked immediately. "She knows. I told her everything." "And?" Brandon sat on the edge of the hotel bed. "She was not happy, but I told her we are going to be a family, no matter what she thinks." "Brandon, I am scared. What if she tries to? She cannot do anything, Destiny. I love you. Nothing my mother says will change that. I will be back in 3 days. We will figure everything out together, I promise." After he hung up, Brandon stared at his phone. He wanted to believe his own words, but he knew his mother. Victoria Wellington did not lose. She always got what she wanted. 2 days later, Destiny received a phone call at work. "Is this Destiny Miller?" "Yes. Who is this?" "My name is Helen. I work for Mrs. Victoria Wellington. Mrs. Wellington would like to invite you to her home tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She would like to meet you properly." Destiny's heart jumped. "She wants to meet me?" "Yes, Miss Miller. Mrs. Wellington believes you, and she should speak in person. She asked me to give you the address." Destiny wrote down the address in Brookline. After she hung up, she felt hopeful. Maybe Victoria wanted to make peace. Maybe she realized that Destiny and Brandon really loved each other. Destiny asked her co-worker Rachel if she could borrow a dress. "I am meeting Brandon's mother tomorrow. I need to look nice." Rachel lent her a simple black dress. It was the nicest thing Destiny owned now. She took 2 buses to Brookline the next day. The trip took over an hour. When she arrived at the address, she stared. The mansion was enormous. It looked like a museum. Destiny walked to the front door and rang the bell. A woman in a uniform answered. "Miss Miller?" "Yes." "Please come in. Mrs. Wellington is expecting you." Destiny followed the woman through a hallway filled with expensive furniture and paintings. Everything was perfect and cold. They entered a sitting room. Victoria Wellington sat on a cream-colored sofa. She wore a black suit and pearls. She looked at Destiny with sharp green eyes. "Sit down, Miss Miller." Destiny sat in the chair across from Victoria. She folded her hands in her lap. Her palms were sweating. "Would you like something to drink?" Victoria asked. "No, thank you." "Very well." Victoria studied Destiny carefully. "You are younger than I thought. How old are you?" 22. 22. Victoria nodded. "And you work as a waitress at the harborside?" "Yes, ma'am." "Where did you go to college?" "I did not go to college. My family could not afford it." "I see." Victoria was quiet for a moment. Then she leaned forward. "Miss Miller, I am going to be very direct with you. I do not believe in wasting time." Destiny's stomach tightened. "My son believes he loves you. Perhaps he does, in his way. But love is not enough to build a life. You and Brandon come from completely different worlds. You have no education. You have no family connections. You have no skills beyond serving food. Do you honestly believe you can be a Wellington?" Destiny's face felt hot. "Mrs. Wellington, I did not plan for any of this to happen. I love your son. This baby. The baby." Victoria reached for a folder on the table next to her. She opened it and took out a piece of paper. She placed it on the coffee table between them. It was a check. Destiny stared at it. $100,000. "This check is yours," Victoria said calmly. "Take it. Leave Boston tonight. Never contact my son again." Destiny looked up at Victoria in shock. "You want me to disappear? I want you to be realistic. $100,000 is more money than you would make in 5 years as a waitress. Take it. Start a new life somewhere else. Raise your child alone. You will be fine." "I do not want your money. I want Brandon." "Brandon does not know what he wants. He is confused. In a year he will forget about you." Victoria's voice became colder. "If you do not take this money and leave, I will make your life very difficult, Miss Miller. I have lawyers. I have connections. I can make sure you never work in Boston again. I can tie you up in legal battles for years. You cannot fight me. You have nothing." Destiny felt tears in her eyes. She was 3 months pregnant. She had $800 in her bank account. She lived alone in Boston. Her mother was 1,000 miles away in Ohio. Victoria Wellington was one of the richest women in Massachusetts. "Why are you doing this?" Destiny whispered. "I am protecting my family." Victoria pushed the check closer. "Take it. Leave tonight. This is the best option for everyone." Destiny's hands shook. She looked at the check. $100,000. She could leave Boston. She could have the baby somewhere safe. She would not have to fight the Wellington family, but Brandon loved her. Did he not? Except Brandon was in New York. He did what his mother told him to do. He left Destiny alone when she needed him most. Destiny picked up the check. Tears ran down her face. "Smart girl," Victoria said. Destiny stood up. She did not look at Victoria. She walked out of the sitting room, through the hallway, and out the front door. She walked down the long driveway with the check in her shaking hand. Her other hand rested on her stomach, where her baby was growing. She did not look back at the mansion. Destiny took the bus back to her apartment. The ride took an hour. She stared out the window, but saw nothing. The check was folded in her jacket pocket. She could feel it there, like it was burning through the fabric. When she reached her apartment building, She climbed the 3 flights of stairs slowly. Her legs felt heavy. She unlocked her door and went inside. The apartment was tiny. 1 room with a bed, a small kitchen area, and a bathroom. This had been her home for 2 years. Destiny sat on her bed. She pulled out the check and stared at it again. $100,000. More money than she had ever seen in her life. She thought about her mother working 2 jobs in Ohio. She thought about eating cereal for dinner as a child because there was no money for anything else. She thought about Victoria's cold green eyes. Asterisk, you have nothing. Destiny started crying. She cried for 20 minutes. Then she stopped. She wiped her face. She stood up and pulled her suitcase from under the bed. If she stayed in Boston, Victoria would destroy her. If she stayed, she would spend years fighting lawyers while trying to raise a baby alone. Brandon was too weak to stand up to his mother. He proved that by going to New York when Destiny needed him. She had to leave. She had to survive. She had to protect her baby. Destiny packed her clothes. She did not own much. Everything fit in 2 suitcases. She packed the photos she had of Brandon. She packed the necklace he gave her for her birthday. She left the books because they were too heavy. At 9 o'clock that night, Destiny called her manager at the Harborside. "Tom, this is Destiny. I have to quit. I am leaving Boston tonight." "What? Destiny, what happened? Are you okay?" "I cannot explain. I am sorry. Thank you for everything." She hung up before he could ask more questions. Then she called a taxi. She gave the driver her address and told him she was going to Logan Airport. The taxi arrived 30 minutes later. Destiny took one last look at her apartment. She had been so hopeful when she moved here 2 years ago. She thought Boston would give her a better life. Instead, it gave her a broken heart. She locked the door and left the key with her landlord. She told him she was not coming back. At Logan Airport, Destiny stood in front of the departure board. Where should she go? She could not go back to Ohio. Her mother lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and could barely support herself. Destiny needed to go somewhere with opportunities, somewhere far from Boston. She saw Austin, Texas on the board. She knew Austin was growing. She read an article once about technology companies moving there. The next flight was at 11:45 that night. Destiny bought a one-way ticket. It cost $320. She had 45 minutes before boarding. She sat in the airport and put her hand on her stomach. "We are going to be okay," she whispered. "I promise." Brandon returned from New York 3 days later. He took a taxi straight from the airport to Destiny's apartment. He had tried calling her for 3 days. She never answered. He told himself she was probably working. He knocked on her apartment door. No answer. He knocked again. Harder. A man opened the door next to Destiny's apartment. "You looking for the girl who lived there?" "Yes. Destiny Miller." "Is she home?" "She moved out 3 nights ago. Left in a taxi with 2 suitcases. Gave her key to the landlord." Brandon felt his chest tighten. "She moved out? Did she say where she was going?" "Nope. Just said she was not coming back." Brandon ran down the stairs. He drove to the Harborside restaurant. He found Tom, the manager. "Where is Destiny? I need to talk to her." Tom looked uncomfortable. "She quit 3 days ago, Brandon. She called me late at night and said she was leaving Boston." "Did she say why? Did she say where she went?" "No. She just said she had to go. She sounded upset." Brandon drove back to the Wellington mansion. He was shaking. Something was very wrong. He found Victoria in her study. "Where is Destiny?" Brandon demanded. Victoria looked up from her computer. "Excuse me?" "Destiny is gone. She moved out of her apartment. She quit her job. She left Boston." "What did you do?" Victoria closed her laptop slowly. Sit down, Brandon. I do not want to sit down. What did you do? Victoria sighed. I met with her while you were in New York. We had a conversation. What kind of conversation? An honest one. I told her that you and she were not compatible. I offered her money to leave Boston and start over somewhere else. Brandon felt like the room was spinning. You paid her to leave? I gave her $100,000. She took it. She left that same night. Victoria's voice was calm. Brandon, if she really loved you, she would not have taken the money. She would have stayed and fought for you. But she did not. She took the money and ran. You are lying. I am not lying. I have the bank records. She cashed the check. Victoria stood up and walked to Brandon. I know this hurts, but it is better you learn the truth now. That girl did not love you. She loved your money. Brandon backed away from his mother. I do not believe you. Destiny would not do that. Then where is she, Brandon? If I am lying, why did she disappear? Brandon had no answer. He left the study. He went to his room. He tried calling Destiny again. The phone rang and rang. No answer. He tried for 2 weeks. He called 100 times. He hired a private investigator to search for her. But Destiny Miller had vanished completely. After a month, Brandon started to believe his mother. Destiny took the money. She left him. She never really loved him. Brandon became quiet and sad. He stopped smiling. He worked at the family company, but he felt empty inside. Victoria told him to forget about Destiny. She said time would heal him. 2 years later, Victoria introduced Brandon to Sarah Chen at a charity event. Sarah was a lawyer. Her family was wealthy. Victoria approved. Brandon agreed to date Sarah because he did not care anymore. A year after that, they got married. The wedding was at a luxury hotel in Boston. 300 people attended. Brandon wore a tuxedo and smiled for photos, but his eyes were empty. He thought about Destiny every day. He wondered where she was. He wondered if she ever thought about him. He did not know she was raising his children. Destiny arrived in Austin at 2 o'clock in the morning. The airport was quiet. She took a taxi to a cheap motel near downtown. The room cost $50 a night. It had a bed, a television, and a bathroom. That was all she needed. She lay in the unfamiliar bed and stared at the ceiling. She had left Boston. She had left Brandon. She was alone and pregnant in a city where she knew no one. But she had $100,000. She had to make it last. She had to be smart. The next morning, Destiny started looking for an apartment. She found a small one-bedroom place for $800 a month. It was clean and safe. She signed a 6-month lease and paid 3 months up front. Then Destiny went to a free health clinic. She needed to see a doctor about her pregnancy. The clinic was crowded with people who had no insurance. Destiny waited for 2 hours. Finally, a doctor called her name. Miss Miller, come with me. The doctor was a tired-looking woman in her 50s. Her name was Dr. Patterson. She asked Destiny questions about her health and her pregnancy. Then she did an ultrasound. Dr. Patterson looked at the screen for a long time. She frowned. Then she turned the screen toward Destiny. Miss Miller, do you see these 3 shapes? Destiny looked. She saw what looked like 3 small beans. What are they? Those are 3 babies. You are pregnant with triplets. Destiny stared at the screen. She could not breathe. 3 babies? Yes, triplets. It is rare, but it happens. You are about 14 weeks along. All 3 babies look healthy so far. Dr. Patterson kept talking about nutrition and prenatal vitamins. Destiny heard nothing. She stared at the 3 shapes on the screen. 3 babies. Not 1. 3. How was she going to raise 3 babies alone? Destiny left the clinic in shock. She walked to a park and sat on a bench. She put both hands on her stomach. 3 babies. She started crying again. She thought about calling Brandon, and she thought about telling him the truth about his mother and about the babies. But then she imagined Victoria hiring lawyers. She imagined custody battles. She imagined the Wellington family taking her babies away from her. No, she had to do this alone. She had to be strong. Destiny went to the Austin Public Library. She spent the entire afternoon there. She read books about investing. She read books about starting businesses. She read everything she could find about money. If she was going to raise 3 babies alone, she needed more than $100,000. She needed to make that money grow. She needed to be smart and disciplined. For 3 weeks, Destiny went to the library every day. She took notes. She researched technology companies in Austin and Silicon Valley. She researched real estate. She looked for free investment seminars in Austin. One evening, she found a flyer for a free seminar called Investment Basics for Beginners. It was happening the next night at a community center. Destiny went. About 30 people sat in a room listening to a speaker. The speaker was an old man with white hair and kind eyes. His name was Robert Hayes. He talked about how to research companies before investing. He talked about patience and discipline. After the seminar, people asked Robert questions. Destiny waited until everyone else left. Then she approached him. "Mr. Hayes, can I ask you something?" Robert looked at her. "Of course. What is your name?" "Destiny Miller. I have some money to invest. I want to make smart choices, but I do not know how to start." Robert studied her. "How much money do you have?" $100,000? Robert raised his eyebrows. "That is a good amount. Do you have a financial advisor?" "No, I have no one. I am alone." Robert saw something in Destiny's eyes. Determination, intelligence, hunger. "Why do you want to invest, Destiny?" Destiny put her hand on her pregnant stomach. "Because I am going to have 3 babies. I need to give them a future. I cannot waste this money. It is all I have." Robert was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. "Meet me at the library tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Bring your research notes. I will teach you what you need to know." Destiny arrived at the Austin Public Library at 2 o'clock the next day. She carried a notebook filled with research about technology companies. She found Robert Hayes sitting at a table near the windows. He had a laptop and several folders. "Sit down, Destiny. Show me what you have found." Destiny opened her notebook. "I researched 3 companies. This one makes software for hospitals. This one builds security systems. This one creates apps for mobile phones. All 3 are small companies in Austin or California. They are not public yet." Robert looked at her notes. He nodded slowly. "You did good research. How did you find these companies?" "I read technology news websites. I looked at which companies are getting investment from bigger companies. I called some of them and asked questions." "You called them?" "Yes. I pretended I was a student writing a paper. People talked to me." Robert laughed. "Smart. Very smart." He pulled out his laptop. "Let me show you how to analyze a company's value. We need to look at their revenue, their growth rate, and their management team." For 2 hours, Robert taught Destiny how to read financial statements. He explained which numbers were important and which ones did not matter. Destiny listened carefully and took notes. "The hospital software company is your best choice," Robert said. "Hospitals need better technology. This company has a product that works, and they already have customers. The security company is also good, but riskier." "How much should I invest?" Destiny asked. "Do not invest everything at once. Put $30,000 into the hospital company. Put $20,000 into the security company. Keep the rest as savings. You will need it when the babies come." They met at the library 3 times a week for the next 2 months. Robert taught Destiny everything he knew. He had been an investor for 40 years before he retired. He had no children, and his wife had died 5 years ago. Teaching Destiny gave him purpose again. Destiny invested $50,000 total in 3 companies. She kept the other $50,000 for living expenses and medical costs. Destiny's pregnancy became more difficult as the months passed. Her stomach grew huge. She could barely walk. She had no friends in Austin. Robert checked on her, but he was 70 years old and could not help her much. When Destiny was 8.5 months pregnant, she could not sleep. Her back hurt constantly. She lived on the 2nd floor, and climbing the stairs was painful. But she never complained. Every night, after trying to sleep, she sat at her small kitchen table with her laptop. She researched more companies. She read business news. She checked her investments. The hospital software company was growing fast. Her $30,000 investment was now worth $45,000. One night in June, Destiny felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Then water ran down her legs. She grabbed her phone and called a taxi. "I need to go to Del Seaton Medical Center. I am in labor." The taxi arrived in 10 minutes. The driver was a woman in her 60s. She saw Destiny's huge stomach and drove fast. "Is someone meeting you at the hospital?" the driver asked. "No, I am alone." The driver looked worried, but said nothing. At the hospital, nurses put Destiny in a wheelchair. They brought her to the maternity ward. A doctor examined her. "You are having triplets, correct?" "Yes." "You are dilated 6 centimeters. The babies are coming soon. Is your partner coming?" "I do not have a partner." The doctor nodded. She had seen this before. "Okay, we will take care of you. Do not worry." Destiny was in labor for 8 hours. The pain was terrible, so she screamed and cried. She had no one to hold her hand. The nurses were kind, but they had other patients. Finally, at 6:30 in the morning on June 15th, the first baby was born. A boy. 2 minutes later, the second baby. Another boy. 3 minutes after that, a girl. The doctor placed all 3 babies on Destiny's chest. They were tiny and red and crying. Destiny looked at them and started crying too. "What are their names?" a nurse asked. Destiny had thought about this for months. "The first boy is James. The second boy is Michael. The girl is Emma." Beautiful names. The nurse took the babies to clean them and check their health. Destiny lay in the hospital bed, exhausted and alone. She stared at the ceiling. She was a mother now. She had 3 children. She was 22 years old. A nurse came back. "All 3 babies are healthy. They are small but strong." "You did very well, Miss Miller." "Thank you. Is there anyone you want to call? Family? The father?" Destiny thought about Brandon. She wondered what he was doing right now. Did he think about her? Did he hate her for leaving? "No," Destiny said. "There is no one." Robert visited Destiny at the hospital the next day. He brought flowers and baby clothes. 3 babies, Robert said, looking at them through the nursery window. "You are very brave, Destiny." "I am scared, Robert. How am I going to take care of 3 babies alone? One day at a time. That is all you can do." Destiny went home 3 days later. A hospital social worker drove her and the babies to her apartment. Destiny carried James. The social worker carried Michael and Emma. They climbed the stairs slowly. Inside the apartment, Destiny had 3 cribs. She bought them used from a website. She put each baby in a crib. They slept peacefully. The social worker looked around the small apartment. "Will you be okay here alone?" "Yes, I will be fine." After the social worker left, Destiny sat on the floor between the 3 cribs. She watched her babies sleep. She felt overwhelmed and exhausted and terrified. But she also felt determined. These babies would have everything she never had. She would make sure of it. The first year was the hardest year of Destiny's life. The babies woke up every 2 hours. Destiny fed them, changed them, cleaned them. She barely slept. She barely ate. Her body was exhausted. But every night, after the babies finally slept, Destiny opened her laptop. She checked her investments. She read business news. She researched new opportunities. Robert visited once a week. He held the babies while Destiny showered or made food. He looked at her investment portfolio. "The hospital software company is doing very well," Robert said one evening. "Your investment is now worth $60,000. "Really?" Destiny felt a small spark of hope. "Yes, and I found another opportunity. A small company in Silicon Valley is creating new security technology. They need investors. I think you should put $10,000 into it." Destiny looked at her 3 sleeping children. "Okay, let's do it." Over the next 2 years, Destiny's investments grew steadily. The hospital software company was bought by a larger corporation. Destiny's initial $30,000 investment was now worth $1.2 million. She moved to a bigger apartment with 3 bedrooms. She bought a car. She hired a part-time nanny so she could focus more on investing. The security company Robert found went public. Destiny's $10,000 investment was now worth $300,000. By the time James, Michael, and Emma turned 3 years old, Destiny was worth over $10 million. She sat in her new apartment and called Robert. "It is working, Robert. Everything you taught me is working." Robert laughed. "I taught you the basics. You did the rest yourself. You have a gift, Destiny. You see opportunities other people miss." In Boston, Brandon's life moved forward like a slow, sad movie. He worked at Wellington Real Estate. He went to meetings. He closed deals. He made his mother proud. But inside, he was empty. Victoria arranged for Brandon to meet Sarah Chen at a charity fundraiser. Sarah was beautiful and intelligent. She was a corporate lawyer. Her parents owned restaurants and hotels. Victoria approved immediately. "Sarah is perfect for you," Victoria said. "She comes from a good family. She understands business. You should date her." Brandon did not argue. He did not care anymore. He agreed to have dinner with Sarah. Sarah was nice. They talked about work and books and travel. She laughed at his jokes. She was easy to be around, but Brandon felt nothing. No excitement, no passion, just emptiness. They dated for a year. Sarah wanted to get married. Her parents wanted them to get married. Victoria definitely wanted them to get married. Brandon said yes because he had no reason to say no. The wedding was planned for October 5th. It took place at the Four Seasons Hotel in Boston. 300 guests attended. The room was decorated with white roses and candles. Everything was elegant and expensive. Brandon stood at the altar in his tuxedo. He watched Sarah walk down the aisle in her white dress. She looked beautiful. Everyone smiled. But when Brandon said, "I do," he thought about Destiny. He wondered where she was. He wondered if she was happy. He wondered if she ever regretted taking the money and leaving. He did not know she was in Texas raising his 3 children. He did not know she was building an empire. He did not know that one day she would come back and change everything. After the wedding, Brandon and Sarah moved into a house in Beacon Hill. They went to work. They attended charity events. They had dinner with their parents. They lived the life Victoria wanted for them. But they were not happy. Sarah knew Brandon did not love her. Brandon knew Sarah married him for status and security. They were polite to each other. They slept in the same bed, but barely touched. 2 years after the wedding, Sarah asked Brandon, "Do you ever think about her? The waitress from before?" Brandon looked at his wife. "Every day." Sarah nodded. She was not surprised. "I know you do not love me, Brandon, but this is the life we chose. We should try to make the best of it." "You are right," Brandon said, but he did not believe it. In Austin, Destiny received a phone call from Robert. "Destiny, the security company just got bought by a major tech corporation. Your investment just became worth $50 million. Destiny sat down on her couch. James, Michael, and Emma were playing with toys on the floor. "$50 million? Yes, congratulations. You are officially very rich." After she hung up, Destiny looked at her 3 children. They were healthy and happy. They had everything they needed. But Destiny thought about Victoria Wellington. She thought about the cold mansion in Brookline. She thought about how Victoria treated her. One day, she would go back. One day, Victoria would see what the poor waitress became. But that day would have to wait. First, Destiny had to make sure her children were completely secure. $50 million was a lot of money, but it was not enough. Not yet. Over the next 3 years, Destiny's investments continued to grow. The security company stock went public and tripled in value. She invested in a small artificial intelligence company in California. She bought real estate in Austin and Houston. She worked with Robert to find every opportunity. Robert was proud of her. "You have the best investment instincts I have ever seen, Destiny. Better than people with business degrees from Harvard." Destiny smiled. "I had a good teacher." When the triplets turned 5 years old, Destiny's total wealth was over $3 billion. She was one of the richest self-made women in America. Business magazines wanted to interview her. They wanted to know her story. She refused every request. She wanted privacy. One evening, Destiny sat with Robert at a coffee shop in downtown Austin. The triplets were at home with their nanny. "I am thinking about moving," Destiny said. "Moving? Where?" "Miami, Florida. I want to be near the ocean. I want the children to grow up somewhere beautiful." Robert nodded. "That is a good choice. Miami has opportunities too. Real estate, technology, international business." He paused. "But that is not the only reason you want to go to Miami, is it?" Destiny looked at her mentor. "What do you mean?" "Miami is close to Boston. Not too close, but close enough." Destiny said nothing. "You are still thinking about them," Robert said gently. "The Wellington family. Every day. Destiny, you have built something amazing. You went from nothing to billions. You have 3 beautiful, healthy children. Is revenge really worth it?" "It is not revenge, Robert. It is justice. I want Victoria Wellington to see what she tried to destroy. I want her to know she was wrong about me." Robert sighed. "Just be careful. Rich people protect each other. The Wellingtons have power. So do I now." 3 months later, Destiny moved to Miami. She bought a mansion in Coral Gables for $20 million. The house had 8 bedrooms, a pool, and a view of the ocean. The triplets ran through the huge rooms laughing. "Mom, this house is like a castle," Michael shouted. Emma found the art room. "Can I paint here? Can this be my room?" James looked out the window at the water. "Why is the ocean so blue here?" Destiny smiled. "Because we are in paradise now." They enrolled in the best private school in Miami. The children made friends. They took swimming lessons and art classes. Destiny hired tutors for music and languages. She wanted them to have every advantage. But she also wanted them to know the truth. One evening, Destiny sat with all 3 children in the living room. They were 5 years old now, old enough to understand. I need to talk to you about something important, Destiny said. James looked worried. Are we in trouble? No, baby. Nothing like that. Destiny took a deep breath. I need to tell you about your father. The three children looked at each other. They knew other kids at school had fathers. They had asked Destiny about their father before, but she always said she would explain when they were older. Do we have a father? Emma asked quietly. Yes, you do. His name is Brandon Wellington. He is a good man who lives in Boston. Why does he not live with us? Michael asked. Because he does not know you exist. The children looked confused. Destiny pulled out her phone. She showed them a photo of Brandon. It was an old picture from 6 years ago when they were dating. This is your father. He has blue eyes just like you, and brown hair. Emma stared at the photo. Why does he not know about us? Because when I was pregnant with you, his mother did something wrong. Her name is Victoria Wellington. She is your grandmother. Victoria did not want your father to be with me. She gave me money and told me to leave Boston. I was scared and alone, so I left. I came to Texas, and you were born there. James asked, Does our father know you left? He knows I left, but he does not know why, and he does not know about you three. Why did Grandma Victoria not want you to be with our father? Emma's eyes were filling with tears. Destiny chose her words carefully. Because I was poor. I worked as a waitress. Victoria thought I was not good enough for her family. But she was wrong. I am successful now. And you three are the most wonderful children in the world. Michael stood up. Can we meet our father? Yes. One day soon. You will meet him. What about Grandma Victoria? James asked. Will we meet her too? Yes, but I need you to understand something. Your grandmother made a mistake. She hurt me, and she kept you away from your father. But people can change. We will give her a chance. Emma climbed into Destiny's lap. Will our father love us? Destiny hugged her daughter. He will love you so much. I promise. That night, after the children went to bed, Destiny opened her laptop. She hired a private investigator. His name was David Chen. He was based in Boston and specialized in researching wealthy families. I need information about the Wellington family, Destiny told him on the phone. Victoria Wellington and her son Brandon. I want to know everything about their lives for the past 6 years. Where they go, who they see, what businesses they are involved in. I can do that. When do you need this information? As soon as possible. Money is not a problem. 2 weeks later, David sent Destiny a detailed report. She sat in her home office and read it. With every page, her heart broke a little more. Brandon had married a woman named Sarah Chen 3 years ago. They lived in Boston. They attended charity events together. There were photos of them smiling at parties. Destiny stared at a photo of Brandon and Sarah at their wedding. Brandon wore a tuxedo. Sarah wore a white dress. They looked perfect together. He moved on, Destiny thought. He forgot about me. But then she read David's notes. Sources say the marriage is cold and formal. They rarely show affection in public. Brandon appears unhappy in recent photos. Destiny kept reading. The next section made her angry. Very angry. Victoria Wellington had hired her own investigators 2 years ago. Victoria discovered that Destiny was in Austin. Victoria learned that Destiny was becoming wealthy. And Victoria tried to destroy her. David's report included emails and phone records. Victoria contacted some of Destiny's business partners. She spread lies. She said Destiny was unreliable and dishonest. She tried to block some of Destiny's deals, but Victoria failed. Destiny was too powerful by then. Her reputation was too strong. The sabotage attempts went nowhere. Destiny closed the laptop. She sat in the dark office, shaking with anger. Victoria did not just hurt her 6 years ago. Victoria was still trying to hurt her. Victoria saw that Destiny was becoming successful and could not accept it. This was not just about separating her from Brandon. This was about control. Victoria could not stand the idea that the poor waitress became richer than the Wellingtons. Destiny made a decision. She would confront Victoria. She would make Victoria face the truth. And she would do it in a way that Victoria would never forget. The next day, Destiny called the best law firm in Miami. She asked for their top family lawyer. She met